Hello, welcome back. For those of you who may not know me, if this is your first time to join us, I'm Scott Schubert and I'm with Trading Mastermind. And the purpose of holding these live sessions is to help people who may be struggling with learning how to trade. If you're a person who is interested in learning to trade the markets, and if you have invested a lot of time and money and only to experience a lot of frustration and disappointment, and maybe you spent a lot of money on things that didn't work, taken courses and attended seminars and followed all kinds of mentors and been in groups and all kinds of things, and you may have gone through periods of time where you just think, I'm not really getting what's the connection here between winning and what it is that everyone is teaching. It just seems to be almost not related. And no matter how much you try, you end up coming back to the same results. Well, of course, part of that could be psychological, subconscious, and that's another subject that we're not going to get into in this session, but it is extremely important, and anyone who would try to deny that that's important is just missing out on understanding what is the most important thing, which is in all of business and in anything. If you are anyone who has studied personal development at all, then you know that the subconscious mind and reprogramming the mind is extremely important. Everyone in business, pretty much everyone now, you can just go to YouTube and type on, I want to learn something about business, and then whatever comes up will probably mention things like Anthony Robbins and reprogramming the mind and things like that, because that's now become universal and mainstream. So the people who deny that that's an important part are just, they have to be willfully ignorant. They have to just really cut themselves off from reality and say that doesn't have anything to do with it. But anyway, rambling a little too long about that because this is live, and what I was saying is that we're not going to cover that in this session. And instead, why not just go right into what's happening in the markets, and can you see it? Because maybe I could help you to see things that you didn't already understand. Now, with regard to the FOMC, this was one of the things that happened this week. And this is the non-weighted US dollar index. And you can see a pattern on this chart, and it resembles well-known classic shapes of patterns, but there are some aspects of it that aren't quite perfectly clear. And I've been considering that this is really a B going up on the weekly. And if you're not familiar with talking about the market in terms of understanding what it's doing, a lot of people, when you mention things like there's a trend, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of a trend, instead of wanting to see that the market did that, they would want to cut themselves off from that and take their eyes and poke them out so they can't see that. And you would be surprised how many people and how many mentors are basically doing that right now. So if you're a person who actually wants to see what the market is doing, then you would just look at this and see it. If you need help seeing things, that's where I can assist you, because there are things that, as I've described in some of my previous videos going back years, I have described how the market can be like one of those pictures that contains hidden images. And if someone can help you to see right there, see what, like there's a picture of this, and here's how you can see that, and then change your eye focus and look at this, and here's what you're looking for. And oh yeah, there's one thing. I don't really have time to do this right now, but maybe our CEO and president can assist with this. But we had a previous session live. Okay, this week I decided to help some people understand how to trade. Let me show you that there was a turn on the Euro Kiwi, and I stalked that for 2 days prior to that and was planning it for the week before that. And that's how I always do things. And then I saw it and I said, there it is, and I'm getting in, and I went on YouTube live to document that. And so that's one video that, if we can put a link to that, or otherwise you can go back and find it, it's on our YouTube channel. That's one video, is the one where I think it was called, entry on the Euro Kiwi or something like that. And then there was one before that, which I mentioned in one of my previous YouTube videos when I documented that I've been showing these trades live. And I may have to dig that one up and give it to you, but it's back there. It's a previous live video, but to find the right one, maybe we can give you the link. I think I was wearing a navy blue shirt, but anyway, we'll put that in there. And because I wanted to show you that I was just showing you, okay, I just entered a trade. Do you see that? And here's exactly why I entered the trade. And then later you can see that it was a perfect trade, and it's as exactly what I was explaining that it was going to be. And later someone commented that why don't any of these people ever show trades in real time? And I just have been showing them in real time, and plus I do that every day in our live sessions. So we do have live sessions every day. So there were, I think, 3 videos that I wanted to offer you examples that you can go back and check. And you should just go back and check our previous videos and see that I've been showing trades in real time. And a lot of people have caught on to that and have been extremely appreciative and have said to me, wow, I so much appreciate that you showed me that, and I'm seeing it and I'm working on it. Because even if I show it to you, it's not like there's some just one secret and I can show you this secret. And a lot of people would think, there's just an indicator or something. Show me your indicator or something, or whatever it is. And there's no thing like that. It's a skill of reading the market, and reading the market is not something you can just confine to one thing. It's everything. Can you read the market? And so many people get the idea that trading is finding out what indicator crosses what. And it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the ability to read the market the same as you would read a masterpiece of literature, or the same that you could read an architectural blueprint, or an electrical diagram, electronic circuitry diagram, or anything. It's like not just one thing. And where would people get this idea? Anyway, I guess, they get it from the brokers and all the gurus and mentors. That's how I got that idea when I first got started in Forex. I paid $2,000 for training with this one company. And then the method was, it was so ridiculous. It was like you divide your chart up on the 1 minute time frame to 3 sections, like 30%, 30%, 30%, 33%, whatever. And then if the price went up into the upper range, you sold. And if it went into the lower range, you bought. And it took me about a few seconds to realize how incredibly stupid that is. I mean, it's just really stupid. Because would that work? That would work if the 1 minute time frame was in a channel and that the market never did anything but just go up and down in a channel. So, and I can't believe that they sold, and they charged people $1,000 for that class. And then there was an advanced class where the owner came in and basically kind of gave a bunch of platitudes about trading. Don't trade with wooden nickels. Always remain calm when you're looking at charts. Believe what you see. That's where I heard that, which I still find that to be useful. Believe what you see. That was $1,000. I was sitting there watching that one day, participating in that in Vancouver, Canada, with some wonderful people. I've met some wonderful people in this business, but it's a bunch of crap, and I can't believe that people are charging money for that. And man, they were promoting the hell out of selling that training. Anyway, so what was the point of all this was that what really works in trading is to read the market. And what I would like to show you is how to read the market so that you can do it. So if you're looking at this, can you see it? And then, are you familiar with the shape? You know what the shape of a trend is. You know what the shape of an ABC is. If you don't, you should get used to it, because that's what markets never stop doing. If you pretend like they're not doing that, then you're just blinding yourself, and you're just trading with blindfolds on. Why would you want? I don't understand why. Well, why would people want to do that? So anyway, what were we talking about here? I can tell you one thing, that I didn't trade the FOMC, and one reason is because it's at 2 o'clock in the morning for me. And so if I did trade it, my strategy was going to be to just see what happens when it came out. And that was just a whole strategy, because even the top experts in the world were saying that it was uncertain how the market would react to what the Fed was going to do at that time. But maybe some people did know that the reaction would be negative, because they're saying that they're going to cut the rate, and they might have cut the rate at that time. There was a chance that they could have cut it at that time. And so they're saying that they're going to cut it is perceived as a negative thing, and that's really the whole strategy, is just a fundamental economic thing. And I don't usually trade solely based off of fundamentals, but when it comes to big events like that, it really pays to get an idea what top experts are expecting. The people who really follow fundamentals, and a lot of times they will publish on certain websites 8 top banks, top analysis experts say what they're expecting from this event. Those are good to pay attention to, because when it comes to those big events, a lot of times it's really down to whether it's going to be perceived as positive or negative, and it comes down to a fundamental reason. Now, okay, we were talking about the US dollar. This is the US dollar non-weighted index, and that's the weekly time frame. When I go to the daily, maybe zoom out a little bit, you can see there is a pattern in here. There is a pattern in here for sure. But to tell you the truth, I don't really get the conclusion of this pattern here. It doesn't really make any sense to me. So that's okay though, because it's often been that way, and that really has very little effect on your overall trading results if your strategy is to wait until something clear emerges, and maybe you traded this, you went short because you saw that the reaction was to go short, and now you, if you have the skill that we have in our community, then you can tell if you can tell if something's going to turn. Like this is not going to turn here. It's going to keep going, as it would never turn with that shape. But a lot of people don't know that, and well, let's go down to shorter time frame. Anyway, on the 4 hour, you can see that's the shape of a trend that's in the middle of the trend, and it can't stop until it puts on the end of the trend. Just like over here, this trend right here has a almost perfect classic shape, and if you're accustomed to reading them, you can tell exactly what it's doing. I mean, I'm so amazed that a lot of people would think, oh, you can't tell that stuff, you can't tell it, you know. And I'm thinking, well, I guess you can't, but a lot of this stuff you can tell. Not everything, but you can tell things. And one of the secrets is to look for things that you can tell. And there may be things where you maybe it's not clear to you. And then what would you do? Wait until it becomes clear. Look at another pair. People don't realize how common sense can make such a huge difference in your trading ability, because as I have been showing some of the things that we are able to do, like I have mentioned before, some people will say, no, that's too simple. That can't work because it's just too simple. And then other people would say, oh, that's too complicated. I don't even understand. That's way too complicated. So half of them saying it's too simple, half of them saying it's too complicated. Or maybe we'll turn that into a different percentage so that we end up with 1%. Some percentage of people go, oh, that's cool, let's just do it. Understand that. But some people say it's, too complicated or too simple. And it's really just a limiting belief. If you're accustomed to doing personal development work and working on your subconscious mind, you know that one of the biggest factors is that people have subconscious limiting beliefs, and they certainly arise when you start trading. If you know anything about this stuff, you will see, oh yes, this definitely arises and pops up any time you start dealing with trading. So I just got back from a little jogging. That's why I'm sweating and drinking water, because I just have just the amount of time to run outside and go jogging. do this live event, and then I'll be in the New York session for our daily live trading. And hopefully during this period of time while we're live, I can show you something that is really, really useful to you. So earlier this week, I did put out a live, without any notice, a live YouTube showing that I had identified an end of a trend on the Euro Aussie that may very well be the end of the trend on the daily. Sometimes we need additional confirmation on longer time frames. This is definitely the end of a trend on the 8-hour. This is the 8-hour. That was definitely the end of a trend, and I knew it before it happened, and then I entered it on the exact moment that it was forming it, as always, because that's what we always do, because we can tell the end of a trend. I feel sorry for people that can't tell the end of a trend phenomenon, because, and if they're involved in trading and they've been looking at charts every day, I would think, well, it's not that you're stupid and blind, but there's some reason why you can't see this, but maybe the reason is you just haven't been shown this stuff. Because I think that any person of any average intelligence can learn to recognize ends of trends when shown how to do it. So this was an end of trend on the 8-hour on the Euro Aussie, and because of that, I went short. And I am pretty confident that that's going to be the end of the trend on the daily because of this shape. There is one aspect of this shape that's not quite perfect, and definitely, you know, the length of the last wave leaves some uncertainty that maybe it still go up on the daily. But it did end on the 8-hour, so that would mean that it's at least forming a correction to the 8-hour trend. And if people understood that kind of thing, man, wouldn't they be able to make a lot more money in trading? And then they would be doing the stuff that I'm doing. So as it's going up right now, I'm still in the short and not getting out of that. I'm going to the 4-hour here, and it's not clear that we have an end of this correction yet, but I'm still in there. So we'll talk about that maybe the next time when we come back, because that's all. I'm done there. I'm short. I've been short, staying in the short, and I'm going to go short again when it ends this correction. And when it ends this correction, I will probably identify it as usual at the very second that it's forming the end of a correction, which in industry-wide, it is almost like an unbelievable miracle. But if you were in our community and you hung around for a while, you would think, well, that's not really that difficult. People can do that. But it's amazing how people are conditioned to think that you can't do that. I kind of like it that way. Just go ahead and let people think that you can't do that, and I'll just keep that skill to myself. But I am showing it to people in case anybody would like to know. So that's one thing. Just in this few moments here, I'm attempting to reveal some of the things. And some people would go, what do you mean? They don't understand that I'm trading because I can read this shape. Well, okay, if you don't understand that, that's okay. Just say, I can't understand that you can trade based on reading that shape. But what you don't want to do is assume that it's not possible, because that would be a dumbass mistake. But some people do make that mistake, and some people are dumbasses. But that's okay. We don't judge. If anybody believes that it's not possible, that's okay too. I don't really mind if people don't believe that it's possible. In fact, it kind of is just more of a compliment to me when people say that's not possible. I just think, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, on the Euro Kiwi, that was the one that I identified the turn at the second. Well, actually, that was a little while later that I logged in and got onto the Facebook Live so that I could show this. But just a few minutes before that, I got in, and that was right at the moment it was forming. So I thought this was just extremely easy to identify the end of this trend. I mean, like for those of you who know what a trend is, does it seem like that would be an impossible thing to identify the end of this trend? Because I always just wonder what I think. But not only is it possible to identify the end of a trend, it's like blatantly obvious. How can you not see that? But a lot of people can't see that there's an end of a trend, and they don't know what a trend is, and then they don't know how to just basically adjust the frequency of your charts and look at things on other time frames and see that that might be the end of the trend on the daily, and that, who knows, it might be a pretty major turning point on the weekly. Could you interpret this pattern on the weekly as a possible A going up, B going down, and C going up? Well, yeah. I wouldn't say that absolutely it has to be that, but it does look like that, which lets me know that then the possibility is that this could be going down past all of this stuff for a long way. And as it goes, it's the other thing that I just love doing, is it's so much fun. As it goes, then I can read it as it goes. It's like when you're, have you ever watched a video of someone drawing a picture? And it's really fascinating because, you know, when they first start drawing something, you go, what is that? And then they go, oh, so that's what that is. And they draw something, oh, so that's a tiger, or, you know, so that's a picture of some famous person that somebody just drew while it was upside down and they flipped it over. Have you ever seen that thing on Facebook or something? You watch someone drawing a picture, and it's like that with the market. Like as it's going, it doesn't matter. I'm not predicting like this has to go down here. I could just say, well, this may be going down here. Let's see what it does. And then as it goes down, I can see, oh, it's forming a trend. That's cool. Oh, it is giving us more confirmation that it's doing this thing. You know, and it is so fun and fascinating. I just wish more people could enjoy that experience and get to the point where more people could overcome the terrible frustration and stress and disappointment that many people experience. Because I've experienced that. I've been through all that. I've known so many people who have been in our group, and you know, they're explaining to me, sharing with me their experiences, and I just know that trading requires like a really, really strong character, right? Because if you don't have a really, really strong character, first thing that's going to happen is you're going to give up. And the people who make it past that point and they experience the difficulty and the frustration, then a lot of people get to a certain point where there's no quitting, but there's still no winning. You know, they're at that point. I'm not going to quit, but I'm still not winning. And they just keep on and on and on. And one of the things that happens is while that's happening, you develop, in terms of NLP technology, you're installing an anchor of terrible frustration and stress with your trading, because you go to your computer, you open it up, and then there's an anchor because it's already linked and it's been going on day after day after day. So then you just go to your charts, and what's happening is you just immediately feel all the stress. Now, some people are going through a roller coaster where it's like being a manic depressive, and then they're like, oh, yeah. And then the next minute they're like, oh, God. Going from happy to sad. And that's so sad, too. Better to, to just get, because both of those extreme emotions can cause you to lose. And I've experienced that, too, because sometimes I just get really confident and think, oh, man, I know this. Oh, another trade. Oh, another trade. And then you get on a roll, and you think, and that positive confidence and positive expectation is something that a lot of people learn to, I'm feeling this positiveness, so I better be cautious. And they're doing it to themselves all the time, not allowing themselves to have positive expectations, so that overruns everything they're seeing. But you do have to guard against both extremes and just maintain a calm, even disposition, and just accept what the market is showing you, and just look and see, is there an entry or there's not an entry. And don't need to get extremely emotional either direction, but you do want to maintain a positive, uplifting attitude about the whole thing. Because if you just get totally negative and stuff, then that's just going to drag you down. So anyway, am I rambling with all this tidbits of extra wisdom that can, because a lot of people just like, just show me how to trade. I don't want to know anything that would actually help me to overcome my greatest challenge. So I'm still short on the Euro Kiwi and monitoring this as it goes. I'm planning to stay in been saying for about 2 months. I'm going to stay in this, but as it goes, I'm going to be monitoring it in case something emerges on here which would make me think that I should get out. And so far, this right here isn't something that would make me get out. Why is that? Because this has turned. This is a wonderful thing to experience, but some of these things about the market, maybe I'm kind of slow to learn, but there are some things that I only realized within the last 2 years, after trading for many years before, about the market. And part of that was from accepting a theory. When it comes to Ellliott Wave, it is essential that you realize that markets never stop forming some type of an Ellliott Wave pattern. But within that truth, that fact, there are other things that what's normally contained in a lot of the theory isn't actually correct. And then so I have learned some things from observation, and then just in the past 2 years I learned some things that now I realize, oh, so that is why the market always does that. So one of those things, hopefully not rambling too much here to keep your attention, because this is extremely important. And so the emphasis is to let you know, if you're interested in learning how to trade, this is something you may want to know. So for today, I'm just going to emphasize that if there is a turn on a longer time frame, such as the weekly or the daily, there is
different type of phenomenon that will happen from that point. And it's not what I originally was expecting over and over and over based on a theory. So that, maybe you'll learn more about that in our live sessions, but this may have turned on the daily and the weekly, and I think it has. I'm sticking with this till I get information that it hasn't. And one of the things that you'll notice is you can, as soon as there's a turn, you can go down to a shorter time frame and think that there's an end of a trend and immediately talk yourself into getting out. And based on my years and beyond a decade of experience, I would say that is the worst mistake. Don't do it. I'm still having to tell that to myself. I had to really, really discipline and install a new behavior. And I'm still in the process of installing it. So here's another test. To go down here after there's a turn on the daily and think, oh, that's ending a trend now, and I better get out. Now, I would need more evidence that it's ending a trend, because I have seen this phenomenon not just a few times. This is just, this phenomenon to me is like, have you ever noticed that the sun comes up in the east? I had some people say, no, I did not. But anyway, let's say you get up every morning and you look toward the east. Did you notice that the sun comes up? Do you think that there might be a possibility that it might come up in a different direction tomorrow morning? Nah, that's kind of the way some of this is when it comes to trading. It's like, no, it's not going to do something else. It's going to do what it always does. And this has been proven and tested, and the only way to prove and test it is to learn this and look at it. Maybe you can also go back and see it on all the previous times. There's a certain phenomenon that happens, and you can actually see it in the past every single time on all of them. Once you realize it, then you will go, oh, okay, now I understand that. So if there's anybody who's not understanding what I'm talking about, well, relax, and maybe to really understand everything about trading, you might need to enroll in a training program. To tell you the truth, how else would you do it? I mean, people so determined to only do things for free. Like, I'm showing you stuff right now for free, and a lot of this stuff is so valuable that there are people with top banks. I know, I mean, because, well, actually, people who trade with top banks can't read the charts. And we've had people who worked for banks who were in our group, and some of them explained things to me about what they were doing, and it was pretty amazing. Plus, you can learn stuff from people who have training programs, like what's his name, Anton Eel, who I've talked with a few times several years ago, and did his course. And the first thing that he said is that professional traders at what's the name of the place? Goldman Sachs. Professional traders are like Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness. And what they do is they take customers' orders and put them into the market. Would you like to buy a position with platinum. So they're just taking the customer's order. And they're not trading an account. So the people who are developing a skill to trade an account based on looking at charts and using economics and fundamentals combined, their way of doing things is quite a bit different than the so-called institutional traders. So anyway, some of the secrets that I'm alluding to here are just, I could completely demonstrate right in front of your eyes right now, but I think we're just about done. And if you have any questions, just put them below in the comments. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon, because that enables you to receive notifications of all of our new, maybe it will tell you about new live events if you check the all button. Like earlier this week, I did a live event and I didn't give any notice because there wasn't time. I just said, you know, I should go live so I can show this, because I've been telling people I'm going to show them some things live. And so I did. And I made a new video this week that if you saw it, you now can see that I'm showing stuff live time. And then some people, if you explain how to trade, it's funny. I could go on here live and I could explain exactly how to trade. I mean exactly. And there would be some people sitting there going, why don't you show me how to trade? But that will always be the case. You know, there's just, you know, some people aren't tuned in or something. So anyway, today I've showed a lot of stuff, and there's still more stuff. In fact, there's so much stuff that's why we do this every day. So I hope you enjoyed that. Have any questions about the Euro Kiwi, how that goes? We're going to meet up again. Maybe next time we'll talk about how this trade has progressed. And I didn't even get around to mentioning gold, because gold changed its story. And after breaking through this, and when there's another phenomenon, I don't want to get into that right now, because it's too time consuming with the point we're at right now. But gold has changed, and I mean, as of right now, I'm not looking for a short on gold anymore, and I may be looking for new long entries. From the looks of it, it has changed, and stepping back, waiting for the next time there could be any possibility of a longer term short on gold. So anyway, this has been an amazing week in the market. I could feel it from the beginning of this week, and things are shaping up and things are happening, and there's China trade talks with Trump and US, and that's coming up with the G20 meetings, and we had FOMC, we had some Kiwi news, we had a turn on the Kiwi, and a lot of stuff happening, and there's just so much opportunity of the markets, because they're just an endless source of never-ending opportunity, right? So you guys have a wonderful evening or day here in the US. May still be early morning. Let me know if you got any new insights, if you're understanding how to trade. Anybody I mean, I know there are some people, because people have been commenting, they're picking stuff up. Some people picking stuff up for free and enjoying and appreciating it. This is for you that I'm doing this, even if it's just a few of you. So you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and Let me know what you would like to learn more about next time, and we can cover that so that then I'm not just rambling on, talking about things at random. Okay, see you later. Have a good one.